Argentina won again, convinced again, and once again left behind a very clear feeling. Even if Lionel Scaloni rotates names, even if the team manages its energy, and even if the match does not demand a desperate version, the national team still has something very few teams in the world can match. It has structure, it has patience, it has experience, and it still has Lionel Messi. Against Jordan, Argentina did not need to play with a knife between its teeth for the full 90 minutes. It came into the match with qualification well on track, with room to manage physical loads, and with the possibility of giving minutes to different players. But even in that context, the world champion came out to play seriously. It did not give the match away, it did not underestimate its opponent, and it did not let Jordan believe too early that it could control the night. The Jordanian team tried to hold on through organization. During the opening minutes, it looked to close down spaces through the middle, keep its lines close together near its own box, and force Argentina to circulate the ball out wide. The idea was clear: slow down the rhythm, avoid dangerous turnovers, and wait for a transition that could create some discomfort. But Argentina was patient. It did not rush. It moved the ball, switched sides, strung passes together, and waited for the exact moment to accelerate. And when Messi appeared, the match changed. Because Messi no longer needs to touch the ball 50 times to shape a game. At 39 years old, he understands every movement before everyone else. He knows where to position himself, when to draw defenders, when to release the ball first time, and when to hold a pause that seems simple but ends up breaking the entire opposing defensive system. Against Jordan, he proved that again. It was not only a performance of talent, but also of competitive intelligence. His goal once again extended a number that is already starting to look unreal. 6 goals in this World Cup. 6 goals at 39 years old. 6 goals in a World Cup in which many thought his role would be more symbolic than decisive. But Messi is not playing like a living tribute. He is playing like a footballer who still competes, still decides, and still forces the entire world to talk about him. From that lead onward, Argentina managed the match with maturity. It did not lose its shape, it did not get dragged into an end-to-end battle, and it also did not fall into the temptation of forcing things more than necessary. Jordan tried to resist with dignity, but every Argentine attack gave the feeling that it could turn into something important. And when a team has Messi in that kind of form, even matches that seem controlled can turn into a historic scene from one second to the next. The win left good news for Scaloni. The team remained solid, the rotation responded, the defense stayed focused, and Messi was decisive once again. But above all, it left a powerful image. Argentina is moving forward in the World Cup with the greatest champion of his generation still fully alive. And while Argentina celebrates, Europe is watching too. Because among the footballers closely following what Messi is doing, one very special name appears: Ousmane Dembele. The French forward, who is also having a great World Cup and already has 4 goals in the tournament, was asked about Messi's current form, the possibility of facing Argentina again, and what it would mean to be part of the Argentine captain's final World Cup. And his answer mixed admiration, respect, humor, and a phrase that will surely give people plenty to talk about. What Leo is doing is incredible. I cannot find another word for it. Sometimes you try to analyze it from a football perspective, from the numbers, from the age, from the context. But in the end, it becomes something very simple. It is Messi. And with Messi, many times, normal explanations are not enough, Dembele began by saying. The Frenchman, who shared a locker room with Messi at Barcelona and knows up close the way he trains, competes, and understands the game, did not hide his admiration when speaking about the Argentines' performance in this World Cup. The fact that he is 39 years old and has 6 goals in a World Cup is crazy. But I say that with all the respect in the world. It is not crazy because it is surprising that Leo scores goals. We all know who he is. It is crazy because at that age, in such a demanding tournament, with so much pressure, with opponents studying him all the time, he keeps showing up as if time does not pass the same way for him. That is what is impressive. Dembele was also asked about his own goal-scoring race within the tournament. The Frenchman has 4 goals, and with a laugh, he admitted that looking at the table and seeing Messi above him is still a special motivation. "Well, I have 4, so I can still catch him," he said with a smile. But of course, when you say that, and the one above you is Messi, you know it is not going to be easy. With Leo, you can never relax. You can be 1 goal away, 2 goals away, and suddenly he scores 2 more in 10 minutes. That is how he is. I have seen it many times. I have suffered it too. But it is beautiful. It is healthy competition with respect. For me, being close to those names is already something very special. The French attacker emphasized that it is not only about the goals, For him, Messi's impact goes far beyond statistics. There are players who score goals, and that is it. Leo scores goals, but he also changes the rhythm of the match. He changes the way the opponent defends. He changes the confidence of his teammates. He changes the fear of the other team. Even when he does not touch the ball, you know where he is. The defenders know where he is. The opposing coach knows where he is. Not many footballers have that. Actually, very few have it. And Leo has had it for 20 years. Dembele insisted that Messi remains a reference point for an entire generation of players, even for those already competing at the highest level. I think many of us grew up watching Leo. Some had the luck to share a team with him, others faced him, others only admired him from afar. But we all learned something. His way of playing, his calmness, his body control, his way of deciding in tight spaces. Sometimes it looks like he is not running too much, but he is seeing things no one else sees. That is football too. It is not all speed, it is not all physicality, it is not all power. Leo teaches you that intelligence can be faster than legs. The Frenchman also spoke about Argentina and the weight of facing a national team that arrives as world champion and still has Messi as its leader. Argentina is a very strong team. It is not only Leo. That has to be said. They have a very clear structure, players who know how to compete, a lot of character, and an identity that has been noticeable for years now. They are world champions for a reason. But of course, when you also have Messi, everything changes. Because you can play a perfect match for many minutes, and in one play, he breaks everything apart. When he was asked whether he would like to face Argentina in this World Cup, Dembele did not hesitate. Of course I would like that. These are the matches you want to play. France against Argentina is always special, especially after everything that happened in recent years. They are big matches, matches that stay in people's memories. And if it can also be Leo's last World Cup, then even more so. Being part of that would be something very big. The reference to Messi's final World Cup opened up a more emotional part of his comments. Dembele was careful, but also very honest when talking about what it would mean to share a field with the Argentine in a World Cup for the last time. You never know what is going to happen because Leo always surprises you. But if this really is his last World Cup, all of us here understand that we are watching something historic. It is not just another player saying goodbye. It is one of the best of all time, maybe the best, playing his final matches on the biggest stage. To be there, to face him, to compete against him, would be a privilege. The Frenchman also remembered his time sharing a team with Messi and left a phrase full of affection. It is always a pleasure to play with him. It was when we were teammates, and it is also a pleasure to face him, because playing against Leo forces you to be better. It forces you to think faster, to run more, to not lose focus. And playing with him was something different. You knew that at any moment he could find a pass nobody else saw. Sometimes you made a run and the ball appeared exactly where it had to appear. You do not forget that. Dembele also highlighted Messi's ability to remain competitive without needing to change his essence. There are players who, with age, change too much and lose what made them special. Leo adapted, of course, but he is still Leo. Maybe he chooses his moments more. Maybe he manages his efforts more. But when he decides to accelerate, he is still dangerous. When he receives near the box, he still creates that feeling that something can happen. That is the hardest thing to maintain over time, and he still has it. About the possibility of catching him in the goal-scoring table, Dembele joked again, though without losing his respectful tone. I am going to try to do my job. If I can score more goals, even better. If I can catch Leo, that would be nice. But I do not know if he is going to let me, he said with a laugh. With Messi, you never know. Today he has 6, tomorrow he could have 8, so it is better not to promise too much. I am just going to try to help France and enjoy this World Cup. Finally, Dembele left a reflection that sums up the feeling of many current footballers when it comes to Messi's present form. I think the most impressive thing is that we keep talking about him as if it were the first time. So many years have passed, he has won everything, he has broken so many records, and yet he still creates expectation. Before every match, people ask themselves what Messi is going to do. That is very difficult. Maintaining that magic for so long is something that belongs to very few. That is why we have to enjoy it. And he closed with a phrase that will surely excite all neutral football fans. If we get Argentina, it will be a huge match. And if Leo is in front of us, even more so. You want to win, of course, but you also know how to recognize when you are playing against history. And Leo is history. For me, being able to share the field with him in this World Cup would be an honor.